Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Tentative Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so in today's reading, we are going to ask the cards, what is falling away from your life right now? This could be something that you're actively trying to surrender. It could be something that you feel like the universe is ripping away from you forcibly, or it could be somewhere in between. Perhaps it's something that you are working with your higher self, spirit, the universe, to actively try to release. Whatever the case, once we get a sense of what it is that's falling away, we're going to pull some tarot cards to find out what it is that's coming to fill that space. So this could be about something tangible, it could be about something emotional, it could be all of the above, but regardless, once we have a sense of what's falling away and what is going to come in its place, we will end things with a final message of advice. So if that all sounds good to you, let's go ahead and look at your options for today's reading. For pile number 1, we have this piece of raw citrine. For pile number 2, we have this piece of raw clear quartz. And for pile number 3, we have this piece of raw sunstone. Okay, so go ahead and take your time to determine which of these 3 piles you are the most drawn to today. If you need more time, you can always pause the video before making your choice. But once you're ready, you can scroll down to the timestamps in either the description box or the pinned comment. Click on the link that matches the reading that you chose, and I will see you in your reading. Hi pile 1. If you chose this citrine, welcome to your reading. Let's go ahead first and look at these pre-shuffled oracle cards to see what it is that is falling away from your life right now. First, we have this card, number 10, Capricorn, with the keyword persistence. Next, we have number 6, the Seer of Dreams, with the keywords consciousness, manifesting, and reality shifting. And then finally, we have compassion. Okay, we are going to go ahead and roll the astrology dice also. But I know I'm going to throw them off the table if I don't roll them into the box. So I'm going to do that first and then I'll put them so you can see. Okay. You got the sun in Aries in the 2nd house. Beautiful. Okay. So pile 1, what is falling away right now? The first message that I got, and I'm going to say lots of messages probably, but we will likely put them together to be somewhat summarized, but I'll start here. When I first flipped over the compassion card, it was upside down, and normally I wouldn't take this oracle card in reverse, but I'm wondering if one thing that's falling away, at least part of this message, is a lack of compassion. I'm guessing for yourself, and I just feel called to say this could be like in really hidden ways. Like you might, for the most part, when you focus on it, treat yourself with compassion, but there might be parts of you that you're having a harder time even seeing, like let alone being able to offer compassion to them. Another message that I'm getting is that you are somebody who tends to see something that you want and go for it. I don't take you to be somebody who runs around saying, oh, I'm going to manifest this, and then, you know, just giggling and assuming that you're going to get whatever you want. Not that that's necessarily problematic. I was sort of struggling, thinking about how to put that in words in the way that I meant. I think sometimes people can, you know, it's like that old story about the person, like, their house is flooding or everything's flooding and they're sitting on the roof of their house and they're saying, oh, God will come save me. And then like a helicopter comes to save them and they're like, no, God will come save me. And like the point was the helicopter was the hand of God, if you will. Right? So that kind of, shall we say, like foolishness is not how I see you at all. I see you as somebody who says, okay, like if I have my eye on something, I'm going to go for it, in a way that enables you to kind of say, yeah, that might be hard right now, but I'm doing it like from a place of love for my future self. And that's a beautiful quality. So please don't hear me suggesting that that's bad or that you should never behave in that way again. But I'm getting the sense of something that's falling away for you is that hard work. And that's not because you're not going to manifest something. I think what you're being told right now is your dreams can come true without that hard work. So what's falling away is perhaps that work. I also get the sense that part of this, like, I don't, again, want to minimize this skill or the beauty of your willingness to work hard. But I think part of what the cards and the dice are trying to say is that there's a way in which perhaps you've been trying to prove something to yourself. Perhaps when I've been saying all of this, you're like, I don't even see myself as somebody who works that hard. This might be something the cards are here in part to ask you to notice, is actually you're incredibly hardworking. And maybe it doesn't look the way that it would to a lot of other people, but that doesn't mean that it's not hard work, right? I think like you trying to find clarity of intent, trying to see what it is that will bring more life for you and work towards it. I wonder that that's not something that you've worried that you were not good at, one or any part of that. And so what's falling away here is really this, I suspect it's, well, part of what's coming, we'll see what the cards say, but is an acceptance of how hard you do and you have worked. And then like this release of the need to kind of prove yourself to yourself, if you will. Like it has been proven. You believe in yourself now, and your dreams, you can like make room for your dreams to come true because you don't always have to have your head down. You can now receive. It's also interesting, like having the sun in Aries here. I mean, maybe you have the sun in Aries, maybe not. I do. And it's making me think of my own placements, which for me, it's in the 7th house. And I've often felt like it was easier for me to see other people's goals and dreams and life force than it was for me to see in myself. And I don't know if that's a traditional interpretation or not, but that's been my experience. I wonder if part of what you're being told is you've been doing a lot of this from a place of compassion for others, and now you're able to bring that back to yourself. Like, I feel a deep sense of self-care here. Like, part of the receiving is from the external world, as well as, you know, spirit, the universe, you know, both internal and external. And I wonder if also you're really giving that to yourself. You're really taking the time to go within and say, hold on, I don't always have to be sacrificing, shutting it down, putting it in a box for later, compartmentalizing in order to get wherever it was you were trying to go. So yes, I think the main message here is what's falling away is this need to prove yourself to yourself, I suspect. And you're being able to see yourself with a lot more compassion. That felt pretty clear. Let's see what the cards want to tell us, if they want to tell us more about that, and also just what is coming to take the place of this kind of effort that you've been putting in. We've seen this a little bit, but I'm curious what else comes up. Is that in the frame? Yeah, okay. We've got the 2 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, the Queen of Cups, and on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Hermit. Okay, lovely. Okay, so what are you making space for? I do think you're making space for a deep amount of self-care. And sometimes, especially like we've got the Hermit here, we've got the Hanged Man here, right? sometimes that can feel like being told that can feel like, oh great, like what's coming is me spending more time by myself. That can feel like lonely, I guess is the point. It doesn't feel that way at all to me. It feels full of love. It feels celebratory. It feels like going inside and seeing these parts of yourselves that have maybe been neglected as you've been doing this hard work. It seems like an explosion of joy and of fun. I do get the sense that you will be juggling. I feel like I want to know more about this. I need clarification. The Four of Wands. Okay then, with the Empress underneath. All right, I mean, perhaps love is in the cards for you. But more so what I'm seeing is actually, okay, this is perfect for what I was saying. You are receiving from yourself and from the world, right? Like this is internal and external. I think as you take this time for yourself and you see things differently, I actually get the sense this like hermit phase is somewhat over. And you're, I don't want to say the phase is over, but the skill has developed, right? So like now you can take time when you need it, like go internal, shift your perspective because you've developed that skill, and then come back to the world. And I get the sense that what's happening here is you are balancing that. I want to say well, despite what this skeleton friend here might look like. His jack-o'-lanterns are happy. I think you'll be supported in balancing this internal and this external, and also seeing the internal reflected externally. So the more you see what's in your heart and celebrate it yourself, the more you're going to get this celebration on the external. I think it is going to feel a bit like a graduation for you, right? I mean, that could be literal, of course, but when you've had your head down and you've worked really hard, and you've come to the end of that chapter, you know, the Four of Wands, at least the traditional meaning when I learned it, was that it's like a formal celebration of something. So yes, it could be a wedding as many people talk about it, and there is a sweet little heart in the center of that spider's web there. But I think it's also like the completion of a cycle that you are celebrating with your community. So in the sense of a wedding, sure, like a celebration of the end of being single and the end of your engagement period, and you're starting a new chapter, right, as now like an official partner in this way. With the graduation, you're now starting, you know, this new phase of your life. So I think you're able to balance this compassion that you're learning to have for yourself with receiving from the outside world. I'm looking at these little mice on this Nine of Pentacles card. It's interestingly making me think of Cinderella, like the Disney movie. I'm thinking of how, again, this is like, you might be surprised in the ways in which things come back to you. I was noticing how, I was watching the live action Disney film actually a few days ago. I was noticing how Cinderella is like always very kind to the mice and speaking to them with such gentleness and kindness, and without her even asking, right, at the end of the movie, and I'm talking about the live action again, they like open the window so that the prince and all the other guards can hear her singing from the attic. And I think it struck me like she didn't ask for that, and yet like the mice were instrumental in helping her, you could say, have her dreams come true, sure, but like having stability and love and protection and safety and a happier life, essentially, right? And it was interesting because it made me think of like a line from the beginning where the mother had said something about how kindness is magic. And I do wonder if that's part of like what's being shared with you now, right? I mean, the same kind of comment is made by the fairy godmother, right? When she says like, well, like what is a crust of bread and a cup of milk or something? You're obviously somebody who's given so much. And as you look up and wonder like, wait, how is my life transforming with this much goodness? How have I entered this new phase of my life? Because assuming that you're not graduating, getting married, some kind of having some life event externally, I mean, you might be, but whether or not you are, I think that you're entering a chapter with a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of excitement, perhaps adventure, passion, I don't know, but whatever the case, creativity and a new lease on life and seeing things really differently. I don't know if you can hear that very loud plane going overhead, but maybe you're going to travel. But the point is, you might look at all of this goodness coming to you and think, hold on, I better really focus on, taking good care of myself internally so that I keep earning this. You don't need to earn it. You've already put magic out into the universe, and it's coming back to you, not in an earning kind of way per se, right? But because you create magic when your heart is that open to others. So now it's time for your heart to be open to yourself. I also get the sense that this is going to allow you to express love to others. That could be any kind of others, right? That could be your partner or potential partner. That could be your children. That could be, people that you care for, work with, friends, family, any of the above, all of the above. But the point is, I get this sense that you are going to feel so full of love for yourself and from others that you will be like feeling like you're overflowing, wanting to give that back to others. It's so interesting. I keep like looking at this Hanged Man next to this Queen of Cups and thinking like how strong the contrast is here in my mind. Like what's coming next for you? You don't have to work so hard. So what is that making room for, right? And it's like, it feels like this like deep quiet within yourself, as well as this like overjoyed, jubilant like energy of celebration. You know what I think in part is going on here, and like me noticing that? I think you're going to feel more raw and authentic. And that will, like, that's something that you will likely reflect on. Because it will probably surprise you. Because it will probably be out of character. Like, I can't believe I felt comfortable, confident enough, whatever it was, to behave in that way, to say those things, to show up with that kind of vulnerability, I want to say, with my heart that open. And I think when you do reflect on that, you'll recognize that the reason that that's okay is because, first of all, you have the ability to discern, like, where to do that, right? Like, this is not the page, this is the queen. You're being discerning about where you're sharing that love. And also, like, you feel so solid within yourself. Like, part of what I can only imagine happens here when you put this kind of effort into yourself and into the world is you develop an incredibly strong sense of self, right? You know yourself and see yourself unflinchingly. And you know what's required of you to build the life that you want. So when you show up with this vulnerability, you don't need to be afraid, because not only have you discerned who you're sharing it with, but you've also done the work to create a stable foundation that regardless of how people respond to it, you feel good and right and safe within yourself. And if you don't, you have the skills to do that, to bring yourself back to that place. I can't help but wonder also, pile one, if there's like more than one way in which, like more than one area of your life that this is going to affect, right? Like as you let go of this like hard work toward manifesting your dreams, and your dreams or your goals or whatever it is are here in front of you, which is what I see happening. I suspect it's more than one dream. And in a pretty big way with this like Four of Wands coming out. So maybe this is like relationship and vocational, right? Like maybe this is starting a family as well as having a new friend circle, a new really important big hobby that shapes your life. I don't know, but whatever the case, I do get the sense that you're going to feel like there's more going on in your life than perhaps there ever has been, but certainly like more happy things are happening to you than you're even sure you can deal with. And I think that's another reason why this Hanged Man card here is so important, because if you do start to feel overwhelmed, you can go inside of yourself and check in with yourself and make sure you're doing self-care, right? Like make sure you are seeing the good for what it is and like not letting potential feelings of overwhelm cloud you into thinking that something is wrong. I also get that sense here from this Hermit, and I'm not exactly sure why, but I think, excuse me, for some reason I'm getting this like impression that the Hermit looks surprised that the lantern is so happy or something like that, is so lit up, which is really interesting. And I wonder if that's part of what's going to happen here for you, is you're going to be surprised at how, what was the words that were coming to mind was like bright you are on the inside, I suppose. But like when you take that time in darkness to see things differently, I think you'll be shocked at how much light your own heart and your own soul is emitting. Yeah, that feels really important. I suspect that as you've done whatever work you've been doing, I think you've had your head down. Like I think it's been hard for you to see how beautiful and powerful, like what a skill it is that you have and that you've developed, and what a beautiful place it comes from. And I think as you enter this next phase, part of what's going to come up as this is released is sort of an astonishment at how much you like yourself. Just like genuinely look in the mirror and you're like, wow, actually you're really cool and I have a lot of respect for you. I'm very proud to be me. I think that's how you're gonna feel. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like an incredible gift to me. Especially if you've had your head down, especially if you've been trying to prove yourself to yourself. What you're ready to release is that effort, and what you're ready to accept is that you did it, and you can be proud. All of this is beautiful and it's meaningful, right? And I don't want to minimize it, but that like pride in yourself, and I don't mean pride in a problematic way, right? Like in a really beautiful, like, hold on, I did this and it was hard for me, but I stuck to it because I believed in it. That's incredible. And I think that kind of really genuine pride you're going to feel in yourself is going to be irreplaceable. So as this like party and excitement, inevitably the energy will wane as it does. Not to say you'll lose these things at all. I actually don't see that whatsoever. But, you know, excitement, initial honeymoon phases, they all eventually taper out, or we have days at least where they do. I think you'll be so proud of yourself and like what you see reflected back to you in the mirror so much that that will like sustain you on the days when things are harder, as inevitably they will be. Okay, so let's end things with a piece of advice for you. And I'm gonna shuffle, sorry, off camera just so I don't mess up all the cards, but okay. Your card flew across the room. Come back. Okay, you got two. Can you see them both? Okay, I'll try to hold them up first. So you've got Moonstone with Live Your Purpose, as well as Azurite, Get Laser Focused. I feel like I'm pronouncing that wrong, but what can you do? So let's see if I put them over here. Can we still see them both? I think. I hope. Okay. Wow. Okay, so the advice that you're getting as you let this need to work so hard fall away, if you need something to focus on, it's not so much to work hard, but it's to focus on what you feel is your purpose. And that could be in a vocational sense, right? That could be in a spiritual sense. That could be that you want to be a partner, a parent. That could be on any level, all of the levels. Take from that what you will. But I think the point is to train your focus on your purpose. Ask your purpose what you should do next. And let this need to like, but what should I be doing? What should I be doing? In a like, I gotta work hard kind of a way. Let that fall away. You can focus on your purpose and take the next steps you're inspired to take without feeling like you're having to prove something, without feeling you're having to live up to kind of society's standards of what it looks like to work hard, achieve your goals, be the big boss person, whatever it is. So it's interesting because I know those cards are, you know, get focused, live your purpose. And I think those are right, but I feel like relax, smile, feel passionate. Like that's what I feel when I look at them. Let them fill you with joy. Like I'm having a hard time not smiling as I say that. Let this fall away and live into the joy, because it's coming for you very soon. And you absolutely deserve it. But more than anything, be proud of yourself, because you certainly deserve that too. Okay, pile one. I think these are all of the messages that I'm seeing here for you in this reading. Again, what you're letting fall away is this need to work incredibly hard to make your dreams come true. And this place where you had your head down and you're compassionate to everybody else so strongly that it was hard to even see what you wanted or needed for yourself. And what's coming to fill that space is both inner pride, the skill to come into yourself and see things differently and allow yourself to really transform, to realize the profound nature of the work that you've done. And you're going to be able to open your arms to receive, and I think give back, but in a really different, raw, more alive and authentic way. At least 2 dreams coming true. So enjoy it. Yeah. Thank you so much again for letting me do this reading for you. If it resonated and you feel so moved, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. But regardless, please just know that I am sending you so much love, so much admiration. I'm hoping that you keep taking really good care of yourself, because you obviously are. And I am looking forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye, pile 1. Hi, pile 2. If you chose this clear quartz, welcome to your reading. We are going to get started with these pre-shuffled oracle cards, as well as the astrology dice, to ask what it is that is falling away from your life right now. So first, we have card 33 with North Node Fulfillment. Definitely saw 33 on my phone right before we started, so that's fun. And I looked up at the clock timer and saw 33, so maybe that's significant to you. We've also got number 1, Seer of Spirit, Devotion, Trust, the Universe. And then we've got luminous. All right, and before we interpret these, I'm going to roll the astro dice. I'm going to do that into the box. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I will then put them out so you can see. I just don't want them to go flying off the desk. Okay, you've got Neptune in Aquarius in the 4th house. Beautiful. So let's talk about it. Pile number 2. What is it that is falling away right now? It's funny because I'm trying really hard in my brain to stick to the question, which I know is what's falling away. And all I see falling away is doubt. Like, I'm not seeing these cards. I'll keep sitting with this, but I'm not seeing these cards as representing what's falling away. I'm like filled with this energy of freedom and of passion and of like clarity of thought and of purpose. Like you've been maybe feeling in the dark or unclear, or maybe you've been getting mixed messages. Maybe you've been getting so many messages you didn't know which ones to listen to, which, I mean, I can deeply relate to that. Maybe you've been seeing so many signs you don't even know what they all mean anymore. And I'm getting this sense that you've gotten to this place where you realize, like, oh, there it is. Here I am. Here it is. I don't know, whichever version of that resonates, or make your own. But the point is this, like, this life is precious. Whether you believe in more than one life or not, it doesn't matter. Like, this life, this incarnation, this trip that you have on this earth right now is completely precious, and it's fleeting. And you are looking at it and saying, oh, this is what I was meant to conquer in this lifetime, and I have done it, or I'm doing it. I do wonder if what's falling away is just that, is the dark, is the uncertainty, is the confusion. I'm thinking of, I'm gonna misquote this really badly. What's his name? Oh, I'm so mad at myself right now. Stephen Forrest, the astrologer. I love him so much. Anyway, I've just read lots of his books. I think, in his book about Neptune, I read it a long time ago, but I think it's something about, like, being in Neptunian energy is being able to see really clearly, but it's like through glass, and you need to make sure that glass is really clear. Because if there's a haze or a fog, you're going to think that you're seeing something from this higher perspective, and you won't be seeing it clearly. And you might be seeing what you want to see, or like filling in the gaps with stories, right? I keep wanting to turn this symbol upside down. I don't have strong feelings about which way it's supposed to go. I'm honestly not sure, this Aquarius symbol, but it was bothering me, so now we're having it this way. That's interesting, because now I'm looking at Libra and Pisces. And I was just about to say, I wonder if part of what's happening here is you're letting the stories from childhood fall away. Past patterns, inherited generational patterns. I wonder if you're not breaking through them. And I wonder if that does somehow hinge on religion, or just like what it is to be in connection with the universe, with higher truth, with love, however you want to look at that, all of the ways. And so I wonder if part of what's falling away is also just these last remnants of the stories, the habits, the ways of life. That even if your upbringing was perfectly lovely and you didn't have a negative experience with religion, like, we inherit things. The world around us functions the way that it does, right? And we assume that there are a lot of assumptions that we make about the way that the world works, especially metaphysically, that we don't look at, right? We just say, like, this is what we do, this is what people do, this is how to succeed and be happy and whatever it is. And I think what's falling away is the rest of the fog. The doubt, the confusion, whatever it was that was clouding you. And you feel free. And I want to say you trust yourself. You trust the universe, yes, but I think you trust yourself. Like, as an embodiment of love, of spirit, of the universe, of God. It's not just outside of you and around you, it's in you, it is you. And I just see you taking off. This is really beautiful, moving energy, Pale. Okay, so let's look at, as these things fall away, what is that making room for in your life? We've got the Five of Cups. We've got the Eight of Cups. We've got the Two of Pentacles. We've got the Page of Wands. And we've got, on the bottom of the deck, the Nine of Pentacles. Fascinating. Okay. You still see all of those? Yes. Okay. Pile number 2. As this doubt and fog, past stories, generational patterns fall away, what is that making room for? First of all, let's get really clear on these cards here. You are walking away from the ghosts of the past, for sure. If there have been past pains, I mean, maybe they're going to come up somewhat in this, but you're going to see them for the ghosts that they are, and you're going to walk away. You are going to break free. That is really clear to me. Sometimes for me, obviously the Five of Cups, if you're familiar with tarot, like, that can be a really heavy card. The Eight of Cups can feel that way to me as well. I know not everybody kind of reads it with that heaviness, but for me, and perhaps that's because I cling to things personally, emotional things for sure, it can feel like a difficult card. And this feels really hopeful and freeing to me. It definitely, like, goes along with this energy I was feeling up here. So I think the first thing that's happening is you're seeing your cup as full. Or if it's not full, you've got the ability to steal it back and go fill it up yourself. And I say yourself, like, with newness, with new love, with new excitement, from this place of freedom. So it doesn't have to be you, as in nobody else can be involved. But it doesn't need to come from your past. It can come from your present, is the point here. But there's real clarity as past pains come up, that you see them for what they are. And I want to say there's this, like, this is not my story. Like, I feel this, like, this is no longer my burden to carry. And that could be something quite literal. Like, maybe you're leaving a relationship. Maybe you're leaving a religious tradition. Maybe you're leaving a job. It could be any number of things in, like, concrete physical reality. But even if that's not the case, I feel like internally you're walking away from something, breaking free from something, and saying, like, this is not mine to worry about. What is it? Not my circus, not my monkeys. And those could be belief systems or thoughts, as well as literal was going to say literal monkeys. No, 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 not literal monkeys. I mean, maybe, but probably not. Literal people driving you nuts. Then we come to this Two of Pentacles. I get this sense that you're going to look at the things in your life and be discerning about what you want to keep and what you want to release. So actually in a very tangible way. It could also be like less about release per se and just where you want to put your time. It's very possible that in the space you've been in, right? Like there are ways in which you were prioritizing your time with these assumptions kind of inherent behind those choices. I think here, one of the things that this release is making room for is for you to just see things clearly and determine like which things are worth the juggle, as it were, which things are worth your time and your energy and your investment. Like which things are filling your cup in the present moment? Or do you see filling your cup in the future, but in a way that's sustainable, right? Like this skeleton does look a bit precarious on his unicycle here. And the jack-o'-lanterns are pleased that they're being held up. But like, how long can we do this for? This can only take a lot of energy from this skeleton figure here. And so I think something that's coming is your ability to see clearly and determine what is worth your energy and to give time and energy to those things. It's like having your own priorities, right? You're like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Okay, these are my monkeys. These monkeys I will support. And again, that could be actual separate people. It could also just be your own endeavors, right? Your vocational aspirations, your job, your self-care, right? Like your relationships, your children. I don't know. It doesn't matter. These are the things that deserve your attention. And in this way, right? This way is sustainable. And I think that will become a lot more clear for you. With this Page of Wands here, let me take a sip of water. What is it about this picture? Something about it is like throwing me off or making me uncomfortable or something. It's very interesting. I don't normally react this way to this card. I see you playing with a little fire pile too. I see you having a little mischief in your life. I don't know what it says about me that makes me uncomfortable. I don't think that normally would. Maybe that's your energy I'm picking up. I don't know. But I wonder whether, you know, I felt so much freedom here. I wonder how much, like, the beliefs that you had, this fog that you had about religion, it could have been very self-sacrificial, actually. It just occurs to me thinking about Neptunian energy. It could be incredibly self-sacrificial, the energy that you're letting fall away. And you might not have even felt it as such. Like, if you're a deeply Neptunian person, I think serving can feel really good and life-giving and beautiful, and when it's not authentically aligned, it can be hard to see that because loving just feels so good. And so I wonder if, as you're kind of recognizing that you can be connected to the divine through you, through your own body, I wonder that you're not ready to cause a little trouble, as it were. Light some things on fire in your own life, in your own heart. Why I'm obsessively straightening the cards is that listen, I would take responsibility for this being my own energy. Are we afraid of our power, of our passion, of our fire here? Or is that just me? Either way is fine. If it is you two, let's relate. I get this sense that you're letting yourself dream. You're finding out what fills your cup in the present moment and like letting that be fun and inspirational and kind of like, oh, what if I try this? Well, how does it feel if I do that? kind of like what excites me, what lights me up. My eye keeps going to these little like potions in the sky, like here, and they're reminding me of these potions here, and it's kind of like, okay, yes, like this ghost, like that was yours, somebody else, past generations, stories that were problematic for me personally, but look at all this other good stuff that we have, right? I think it's this like, oh yeah, look at all this good stuff that we have. I can use these things to light up my life, to concoct something more exciting, to see what it is that life would look like without these stories and this need to self-sacrifice. So yes, there's this beautiful release and this sense that you're more in command of your time. But there's also this playfulness, this sense of adventure. Yeah, we might come back to that, but that's where we're at now. With this Nine of Pentacles here, I often take the bottom of the deck as a chapter that's being closed out. I know that we're talking already about what's falling away, and I don't think like a sense of abundance and freedom is falling away from you here. But I do wonder if what's falling away is two things. One is a sense of overgiving. I do think if that part resonates for you, I think that's really going to fall away here. I don't know whether that's something you are going to like actively choose to stop doing, or something that will be like forcibly changed in your life, or some combination of both. But either way, I think that your energy is going to be more your own, and your resources, like your time. You're going to be able to care for your body. I keep wanting to say that, to care for your own body, to sleep, to eat, whatever it is, to drink more water, as my mother would say. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I think sorry, I'm like having to adjust up in here. I get this sense that you've been on your own, in a sense. Obviously surrounded by people, but in a sense very much on your own, internally. And perhaps you yourself have been blind to yourself, if you will, right? But also I think there's been this sense of isolation, and when you have seen yourself, you've been alone in doing that. And I don't get the sense that that's been sad for you. That's probably been very nourishing for you. Perhaps you've needed to take that time to just be with yourself because you were giving so much to others. And so you found that really restorative. But the sense I'm getting is that's part of what's falling away, and you're going to find like-minded individuals who also light you up and give you energy, right? So like you're going to be able to spend more time doing things, engaging in activities, and being with people that give you spoons rather than take them, if you will. If you're not familiar with spoon theory, please Google it if you're interested. But the point is, you're going to feel like whatever it is you decide to keep in your life and to allot your time and resources to, these are going to be things that give as much as they take, if not more. That you feel more whole, more energetic, more connected when in their presence, when without. And so it doesn't mean you're not going to take time for yourself. I have a hard time believing, actually, that you aren't somebody who does that and needs that. This like level of just self-knowledge and passion, and it feels like such deep inner strength and knowledge and knowing that it's hard for me to believe that you're not going to like have that moving forward. But I think these cards are emphasizing your relationships with others, with the outside world, like the external. And perhaps that's because you've done so much internally, right? But I think you're going to find that you can engage externally still or again or whatever it is, but in a really, really, really different way. And perhaps that's part of this fun adventure, right? Like, ooh, would it be fun to hang out with this person? Would it be fun to try this activity? Would it be fun to try that job? Would it be fun to eat this for dinner tonight? It can be like big or small, right? In any area of your life. But the point is that you're living with excitement and you're finding the things that bring you that excitement, and then you are making space for them. And you can do that because you are continuing to let go of the shit that's not yours. What else? My eye keeps coming back to this moth, and perhaps to the Aquarius energy. You're gonna find your people. That's what it is. Something else that you're going to gain as you let this fall away. Because you might well be losing a community here, right? Like, again, whether tangibly so or not, when we walk away from certain belief systems, it's just hard to stay close to certain communities of people that believe that. Now, whether that's an actual, like, job community, family, religious community, or whether that's just, like, the constellations of friendships and relationships that you've had, whatever it is, you don't necessarily need to, like, go making a bunch of changes if you don't want to. But I think you are drawing more and more to yourself other people who are lit up by the same things, other people who have the same beliefs, other people who are rejecting the same issues, and other people who are as deeply humanitarian as you. I want to say you're, like, creating your own, like, found family, chosen family, and really making, like, a conscious choice to invest in those relationships. And there's something, I keep looking at that Aquarius symbol. Maybe Aquarius is really important to you. Maybe you're an Aquarius, or somebody you really love or want to connect with is an Aquarius. If I remember correctly, Aquarius can symbolize something that develops for us later in life, whether that's like a friend circle or dreams, ambitions, hopes, goals, whatever it is, but it's something that then stays. Like, it's not like hopes and wishes in a, like, sweet, innocent childhood way, although maybe you're somebody who had childhood hopes and dreams that you still have now, which, like, no shade, maybe you're an Aquarius, I don't know. But I think for many people, we kind of put down childish ways, as it were, sometimes problematically so, but sometimes in a way that's really healthy and aligned with our development, right? I think what is happening for you, though, is you're recognizing that you have dreams and goals, that you now have the resources, the passion and energy for, and the partners to achieve those goals with. So it's not just you standing on the mountain finding fulfillment alone. It's like you doing that with a like-minded community. Now, that might be literally like the people that you choose to partner with, live with. It might be an online community. It might be just a community that right now you know is there in spirit. But regardless, you are calling towards you people who want these same things, who are working towards these same things. And being around them is going to light you up, and vice versa. And I keep thinking, like, in whatever way, they are going to be your chosen family. And that's really beautiful. Okay, pile 2. Let's wrap things up here and get a little piece of advice. I am shuffling off camera so I don't throw all the cards, but here we go. You've got Rose Quartz, Open Your Heart. I mean, I think the advice is pretty direct. You've done the work, you know? You're ready to put down this doubt. You are ready to welcome, I want to say, an entirely different life Again, whether that's literally like in the physical, whether you are moving across the world, all of the above, none of the above. I know I only named 2 things, but I was thinking a bunch more. You know, we've already talked about them. You can come up with your ideas. You know what's happening in your life, and I don't. The point is, as you welcome this new life, do it with an open heart. Because your heart will tell you if it's wrong, if it's problematic, if it's drawing you back into past ways, and you'll be able to say, nope, 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 that's a ghost. I'm not interested, and you'll be able to break free. I think quite easily, actually. Because you're so clear. So open your heart and open it to goodness, to passion, to excitement. I keep wanting to cut the deck. What's going on? The Ace of Pentacles. Yeah. You're absolutely being gifted a new beginning. And it's protected. And it's really stable and solid. Open your heart to receive it. It sounds like fun. And it sounds like freedom. This is beautiful. Okay, so pile 2. You're releasing doubt. You're releasing past patterns and belief systems. You're probably releasing self-sacrifice. And you're opening your heart, because what is coming for you is the ability to walk away from ghosts of the past, the ability to be more in command of your time and prioritize where you use your energy. Time to take care of yourself. You're bringing in passion, mischief, enthusiasm, creativity, excitement, which is really protected and is going to create a really stable beginning for you. Congratulations. Pile 2, this genuinely, it's really moving. It's really profound. This is awesome. Okay, so pile 2. I think that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much again for letting me do this reading for you. If it resonated and you feel so moved, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. But regardless, just know that I'm sending you so much love, so much admiration. I'm hoping that you keep taking really good care of yourself, especially as you open your heart. Take care of your body, take care of your heart, take care of yourself. You deserve it. And I am looking forward to seeing you again really soon. Bye, pile 2. Hey, pile 3. If you chose the Sunstone, welcome to your reading. Okay, we are going to get started by looking at these pre-shuffled oracle cards, as well as these astrology dice, to find out what it is that is falling away from your life right now. We've got Saturn, number 24, with the keyword boundaries. We've got number 13, a good partnership. And we've got confidence. Okay, and I'm going to roll these dice into this box so they don't fly. I'll move them so you can see them. You've got Saturn. Well, isn't that fun? Saturn on Saturn. Good for everyone. In Scorpio, in the 4th house. All right. Now, before I even start to meditate on these cards, pile 3, if you're afraid that what's falling away is a good partnership that you have, or that your boundaries are going to be crossed, or that's your confidence falling away, please don't be afraid of that. That is not what I'm going to say. Only things that are not serving you fall away. So I don't know whether you're scared or I was just scared, but either way, just want you to know that's not what's happening here. But let's dive in. What is falling away? I get the sense, pile 3, that you've been pretty closed off. And that could be to love. Something I feel called to say right away. It's possible that you've had relationships, even good relationships, even many relationships. I have no idea. But I wonder if there's a way in which there are parts of you you've never been able to show. Okay, and if like romantically it doesn't resonate, that's actually how I think I want to read it. But if that doesn't resonate, like this could be in friendships, in business, in family relationships, or it could be all of the above. It could also be with yourself or with the divine, right? So take it in as many ways as this is meaningful to you. But I'm getting a strong like romantic sense from this. I get a sense that there's a way in which like deep intimacy, emotional intimacy particularly, although, you know, physical intimacy very possibly as well, where there's parts of it that have been really locked down for you. And I don't know how intentional or not that was, right? We often learn boundaries in childhood very subconsciously, right? And especially if you're a more Saturnian person, or like at least if your relationships are that way, like thinking of like Saturn in the 4th house, right? Like if you felt like in intimate settings you were emotionally closed off or closed down, whether your family experience invited that or not, I suspect it very well might have, and I'm really sorry for any and all of the pain that you experienced in childhood if that's the case. I hope very much that you are safe now, or that if you are not, you make yourself safe. But I get the sense that you are safe now. And that you've done a really great job of creating really, really healthy boundaries for yourself so that you would not be hurt in this way again. I get the sense that you have a very strong, like, I can take care of myself energy. And you're probably very well able to take care of others too. And this is all really beautiful. And you can have really good relationships with people with those boundaries in place. And please don't hear me saying, like, have no boundaries. The only way to have intimacy is to have no boundaries. It's actually completely false. The only way to have true and good intimacy is to have healthy boundaries. But I get the sense that it's what's falling away for you is the boundaries that were so strong that they kept out the level of intimacy that you've wanted. Now, I do get a strong emotional sense from this. So perhaps you haven't felt seen or held. Like, especially if you felt restricted in a 4th house sense. I wonder if you've never really felt like you could fall apart, collapse, you know, like be held in someone's arms. Like in the way you'd want like your mommy to when you're a child, you know? Or even if you have done that, you've had relationships like that, you've had moments like that, I wonder if you felt like you were punished for that, it was used against you, in more overt or covert ways. But I think part of what this has done in having you shut down these emotional parts of yourself is I suspect that it's also, I want to say, caused you to struggle with a lack of confidence. And that's interesting, right? Because I think there are ways in which you have a lot of confidence, especially, specifically, and especially at the same time, especially around your ability to be strong, to do it on your own, to handle crises, lots of things like that. But I wonder if you have struggled to have confidence in, you know, it could be your worthiness of that. I'm also wondering if it's manifested sort of physically. Like, I wonder if you feel a lack of confidence in the way that you look. And I'm saying that with hesitance. You might be a really, you know, attractive person, whether, you know, in a classic sense or in society's eyes or your eyes or anything like that. But I wonder whether you're like, you worry you're not attractive to the kind of partner or partnership that you want. I wonder whether you're worried that this vulnerable part of you is somehow unlovable, is somehow too much, is going to ask for too much. I mean, I wonder if that's why you were restricted as a child in the first place, if that was the message, that you were too much. So pile 3, what's falling away is the fear that you're too much. the boundaries that are so strong that they're preventing you from seeing that what you actually are is just right. And that there is a person, or multiple, depending on how you're taking the situation or whether you're polyamorous or not. But there are people that find you attractive enough, I want to say, to like throw their lot in with you, if you will. So what's coming is and are good partnerships. What's coming is a strong sense of confidence. What's coming is healthy boundaries. What's falling away is the remnants of traumas past, I want to say, and the ways in which they held you back from knowing all of the darkest corners of yourselves and having them be known by somebody else. Yeah. Okay. So that's what's falling away. And we've already talked somewhat about what's coming next, but let's see what else is going to fill this space, fill this void. Let's do it. Pile 3. Got the Knight of Cups, the Seven of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and on the bottom of the deck we have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, you've been really patient here. I often see the bottom of the deck as like the chapter that's closing. Oh, pile 3, what's coming is the love you've been dreaming about, if that's relevant for you. And again, take that in whatever way. Like if you are thinking about that in other contexts, then that's fine. But the love that you've been dreaming about in these ways. Like I see this really, I want to say like innocent, fun, stable new beginning for you, you know, in love or etc. But we're going to stick with love for now. I think you're going to receive offers, perhaps many offers, in fact. I think you're going to be able to date, whether again, one or many people, and see what feels good, see what lights up your life, see what brings you energy and stability. I think you are going to see a fulfilling future for yourself and find more and more clarity on what gives you, like what relationships, what activities bring life-giving energy to you, and how that helps guide your choices. Sorry, I'm so caught on this Two of Wands all of a sudden. I don't know, I've just like never noticed all the like little intricacies in it here. I'm struck by the fact that these two wands are bound together and they're making a heart. Pile 3, I really feel like love is coming for you. I feel like as you just soften your boundaries and release your need to hide from others all of these parts of yourself that you're afraid are too dark or too messy or too much, I think you're going to be met by somebody who is the same amount of much. If you're a fire sign, I get the sense that you're going to meet somebody who's just as fiery, and you certainly don't have to be, but like the most passionate and creative parts of you, the things that give you life, I think you're going to find someone or someones who match that energy and who are lit up by the same things. I think it's going to feel very protected. I keep wanting to say that, like very, very protected. Even though we've just got this Page of Pentacles here, it's like this like agreement that we're going to build something stable, but we're going to do it together. I think you're each bringing the work that you've done so far, like a really stable foundation. As I said, I think you are somebody who's very strong, who's established a lot for yourself, whether that's internally, externally, or both. And I think either way, like, you are bringing that, and that's being matched in this partnership. And that's enabling you to let things grow. And to do it, you know, quote unquote, slowly, but I don't mean that in a way that would make you groan, although you can if you want. But I mean in a, like, I don't know, let's see how this feels. Let's see how this goes. You know, we can have all kinds of dreams, and when they're just dreams, they can feel really good as dreams, but like in the physical world, you have to kind of try things out and see what feels good, see what feels right. You know, when you get to know somebody, you kind of have to get to know each other on all kinds of levels, right? To see what feels good to both of you. And as I say that, yes, certainly we can mean that in a physical way, but I mean it on all kinds of levels, right? And especially if you've never shared yourself as vulnerably and as intimately as you've wanted to, take that at a pace that feels really comfortable for you. You know, you don't have to like jump all in and say like, oh yeah, I'm going to share all of my muchness with somebody else. You can if that feels right. But if it feels better to do it in little bursts, slowly, do that. I think as you do, you will be met over and over and over again by somebody who says like, yes, me too, or I like that, it's cool, or yeah, I can work with that. How can we make that life-giving for both of us? I all of a sudden felt an overwhelming desire to say, if you are interested in somebody or have a relationship already with somebody that's long distance, you're going to find a way to work that out in a way that feels good to both of you. I think you're going to see each other soon. That's one thing that felt all of a sudden very important to say. I think this person's also going to be really romantic. I think they're also going to reflect. I think they're going to make you feel really safe to share these messy parts of yourself. But I think you're also going to like be disarmed by them. I don't know whether they're somebody who's typically charming or whether you bring that out in them or they're particularly charming to you. But regardless, I think they're going to help you soften and melt your hearts. And it's going to make it easier to like let these parts of you out. You're going to feel safe to do so. And I know we just have the knight here, right? Not the king, but that's okay. Like that, what that makes me feel like is not that this person does not have the capacity to hold that or that they're being in any way fake, nothing like that. What I get from that, and again, like from this page, it emphasizes to me how this could be a new relationship, right? Or one that's, you know, in its early blooming stage. Because with this page and this knight, I don't feel a lack of maturity. I actually think both of you are probably incredibly mature. I think what I feel is that you're both on the same page where you've never gotten what you've wanted before. You've had all these dreams and these hopes and these wishes that haven't been met or matched. And you'll be able to slowly share those parts of yourself because maybe you don't even really know what they are, what they look like. And same for this person. But as you share them, you realize that your hearts match, that your passions match, and that you can really build a life that's sustainable and meaningful to you both. I feel like I'm pausing and I'm like, do I even want to say more? I know this is quite a bit shorter than the other piles. I think I do. I want to get a sense of like what this is doing for you internally. Because externally it's so clear. Like you're going to be met and loved and held and have a really beautiful partnership. And I don't know how long it's going to last, but I think you're going to find what you've been dreaming of. So as long as that's something that is meaningful to both of you, I think it's going to last as long as you both want it to. Right? I'm curious what's going to come out of you? Like, what's happening within you? What are these parts of yourself that you haven't maybe felt the confidence to share? So I'm going to shuffle for a second. We're just going to get a few cards about that. As I said, I didn't do this for the other piles, but really? The cards are trolling me, hold on. Because they're just telling me the same thing. They're saying, you've been holding back, you're gonna break free. Is that it? Is that all we can know? Like, what's gonna come out? Look at the Knight of Cups. Maybe you're a romantic, pile 3. And what's gonna come out is your romantic side. You've got the 9 of Wands. A lot of pent-up passion, perhaps. Perhaps past pain, too. Perhaps that's what you're afraid of. You know, like, our passions can be tied up in places of anger as well. And particularly if you've been through some messed up stuff, let's say. I say that lightly, just to not get into it right now and trigger anybody, not because I think it's light. And all of a sudden I feel the need to like clear off my cards. Okay, anyway, it's fine. Clean off, I meant to say. I wonder if like part of what's going to come up is past exhaustion, past pain, past anger. I don't think with this person. Okay, 9 of Cups. I see you. I see you. It may not be at this person. I mean, it might be. But I wonder if more so what's going to come out in part is like your feelings of exhaustion from holding it all together. And I think that's okay. Like, meet that with tenderness and kindness and know that this person or these people are going to be able to meet it with that as well, because it makes sense. Like, of course you are exhausted from holding it all together. It is exhausting to hold these kind of boundaries, especially for as long as you probably have been doing it. Especially without someone who could be there for you, right? Like, to really be able to, like, as I said before, like melt into someone's arms and put all your cares down and say, I'm afraid, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. I know that I can trust you to hold me in this. If you've never had that, of course when you let your guard down, you're going to be exhausted, and that's going to come out, and that's okay. Take really good care of yourself. Get extra rest. Drink a lot of water. I'm going to drink some water. Take care of yourself. And if you find yourself angry, sit with those feelings, move through them, see a good therapist, whatever you need to do. But that's normal, okay? It has nothing to do with this relationship necessarily. I mean, if this person makes you angry in a problematic way, of course, that's fine, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a good partnership, right? Not a problematic one. We've got the 9 of Cups, and I want to add the Page of Swords here. It's feeling called to the top card there. I think the other thing that's going to come up for you is learning what it is that really fills your cup, what it is that you need, what your love language is. You've probably never been able to ask for those things. And like I said, it might feel uncomfortable to do that at first, or to know how to do that, or to do that without being afraid that you'll be rejected, right? Or told that you're too much. But I think you'll learn what those things are if you don't know, that you can get them, what a healthy way to get them is. And I think you'll be able to cut through the ghosts of the past where you were like trying to get needs met indirectly, right? We often, I mean, we all have the needs that we have, and you shut down in this particular way, I suspect, as a like normal response to an abnormal situation, right? But you still needed to be cared for. And so there are probably ways in which, I mean, very subconsciously, likely, you were getting those needs met. I think you'll see that. I think you'll cut through those ghosts. Because as you're releasing this and you realize you can get your needs met and you can be held, I think you'll be able to just feel held and loved and not need to go about it in any problematic ways. I also just do want to say, I think your inner romantic is going to come out. I think you're going to say things, do things that surprise you. I think you're going to be more creative, whether with this person or on your own. I suspect you're going to show love to, like, more love to everyone in your life, in a, you know, the way that, like, cartoons or movies or whatnot depict a person, like, in the early stages of love, and they're, like, loving on everyone and giving flowers to strangers and hugging their kids more, or whatever it is, right? Like, being extra kind to the cashier. I think you're going to see yourself in that energy. And that might be confusing if you're both exhausted and angry sometimes and like overwhelmed with happiness and joy sometimes. That's okay. You are allowed to be a whole person with lots of feelings in all different directions. Okay? I know I cannot go back and like reparent you. I hope you're getting some good therapy and learning to reparent yourself, or that you already have. I suspect that you have, because if you're in a place where you're ready to let this fall away, you've done some kind of work. And so now you have a safe space internally where you know that you're not too much, and you know that you are perfect and held in that space, and you can let all of this muchness out and let it be received by the world or not. But it will be received by you, and it will be received by whoever it is that's coming through here. And that will enable you to really live in alignment with what brings you happiness, what makes you feel tender and held and cared for and fulfilled and satisfied, like to have your heart satisfied. That's what I want to say. What's coming for you is a satisfied heart. That actually makes me almost want to cry. That's beautiful, pile 3. Especially for somebody who's probably never had that. I'm so happy for you. I wish so many blessings of love and protection on this. Because you, I mean, deserve it just because you're a human who exists. And also to have done the work that you've done, to be ready to let this go, and to be able to discern a person or people who can meet you there. Live it up, be proud of yourself, be grateful to yourself for the work that you've done. When you feel that heart satisfaction, sit, reflect with gratitude and say, holy crap, I did this. And I'm so grateful for what it has brought into my life that I thought I could never have. Yeah. Let's get you a final piece of advice. Shuffling these off camera, flew across the room. Just didn't want it to fly across the table and mess up the cards that are already there. Hold, please. Okay. We've got clear quartz, get crystal clear. The advice for you, pile 3. The advice for you is to see the purity of your heart, to see the purity of your person, to see the miracle and the gift that you are in your fullness and wholeness. To be incredibly clear that any stories that you've been told that still echo in your mind, that you might be told still in all kinds of ways, right? Like it can be covert and overt, as I said. Any stories that tell you that you are anything less than whole and precious and treasured in this world are wrong. And you are deeply deserving of love. Your advice is to know without a shadow of a doubt that you are precious and worthy and protected. And that is going to be mirrored back to you. Okay, pile 3. That was really lovely. Just to quickly summarize, very, very quickly, what is falling away for you? Boundaries that are too high, that are stopping you from having the levels of intimacy that you want, and the belief that you're too much. What is coming for you is a really beautiful partnership, as well as the satisfaction of your heart. A lot of emotions, maybe, yes, but emotions that make sense. Emotions you are entitled to have and to share and to have be seen in a safe space, both by you and by somebody else that loves you. And your advice is to stay clear on how precious you are and how much you deserved this from the beginning. So, pile 3. Thank you so much again for letting me do this reading for you. If it resonated and you feel so moved, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. But regardless, please just know that I'm sending you so much love. So is this person, whomever they are, or people. I am hoping that you keep taking really good care of yourself. And I am looking forward to seeing you again really soon. Bye, pile 3.